In this video, I'm going to show you how to add Mindbody purchase links to your Squarespace website. So you can have your Squarespace website open. In this case, I have created a pricing options page, and I just have two text blocks next to each other with two different pricing options, and I'm looking to add a button underneath both of them. The other thing that you're going to need ready is to be logged into your Mindbody branded web manager account. And you can do that at brandedweb.mindbodyonline.com. It may or may not be the same login credentials that you use with the core software, but once you get logged in, this is where you can create all the different purchase links and other booking widgets that you can add to your Squarespace website. So we're going to be under the links tab. And so if you scroll down a little bit, you can just get a little preview of where we're going here. Mindbody gives you code snippets to act as add to cart or purchase links. This is a little different than other schedulers and other platforms that you might be familiar with, where you have actual just text links that open up carts in a new window. So what this does, and why this is different than what we're used to, is that this gives us added functionality. And so it looks something like this once you have it on your Squarespace website. When a client clicks Buy Now, it opens up the Mindbody cart in a cart overlay on top of your website. So people do not have to leave your website to complete a purchase. They're in the Mindbody ecosystem right now. They'll be logging in with their Mindbody account, processing payments with their account, but it looks like they are still on your website. So it's a pretty good user experience for the end client. So this is nice that Mindbody offers it this way, but it does require us to use their script links, their code links, instead of regular purchase URLs like you might be looking for. Okay. So there's a little preview of where we're going. Let's head back into our Squarespace website and I'll show you this page setup that we have ready here. So if I click edit into this page, I've created this pricing page just with two text blocks and I want to add two buttons underneath it. So to get ready for that Mindbody link, script link, we need to add a block and we're going to add a code block. So if you scroll down, there's a code block. So there's our little code block and we're going to drag this underneath the text there. And I'm going to make it the same width as the text above it. And I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller too, because we don't need it really large. And then I'm going to click edit into the code block. And I'm going to delete that hello world placeholder text just to get ready. So now I have an empty code block underneath the description of my pricing option. So let's head over to your branded web account to get the actual link that we're going to use. So if we click on branded web, we're in the link section up top. We're going to choose the link type target as a normal pricing option. So for this one, it's a one-time purchase. It's a regular pricing option. If this button was going to be for a contract or something different, you would choose something different. But in this case, it's a regular pricing option. And then it's going to filter out a list of all the things that I have marked in my core Mindbody account as available for purchase online. So if you don't see it in this list, that means there's something in your Mindbody account that is saying that you don't want it available for purchase online. So if I select the link target and I scroll down, I'm going to look for the one that I want. There it is, intro 60 minutes, one-on-one. So I'm going to select that and then I'm going to scroll down. I can change what's the text that's on the button or what will be a button. So in this case, it has Buy Now. So I'm going to say Buy Session just so you can see that it does something a little different. Okay, so I fine-tuned the text that's on it. And now I'm going to copy the code. So I'm going to click copy and I've got all of this code copied on my clipboard. So we're going to go back over into Squarespace, into our empty code block, and we're going to paste all of that I had copied. So now we've got a little Squarespace, because we're in editing mode, is saying, oh, by the way, this is embedded scripts. It's not going to work until you load your site. So let's just get it in place. You can see I've dropped that link right underneath the text block. So it's not overlapping. We don't want to overlap in Squarespace. We want to make sure that it has its own space. Okay, so now we've got that code block in place and we're going to hit save and exit. And then now you'll see it says Buy Session. And if I click on it, it's going to open the cart up. And so someone can purchase right there. Okay, so it's working correctly, but it doesn't look very good. So let's make some things, add some things to change this to make it look good. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to edit into the page and I'm going to center this. So you saw the text was over here on the left. I want it to be centered underneath this text. So I'm going to click into the code block. I'm going to click edit. I'm going to just put my cursor right in front of that code and hit return and then go to the line ahead of it And I'm going to give you a little bit of code, and I'll put this below this video and in the blog post. So all you have to do is copy and paste it. But we're going to go brackets. We're going to type the word center and then end bracket. And you can see it centered it back up. But then we need to end the centering so it doesn't center everything else on the page. So we're going to go down to line 3, and I'm going to go brackets, backslash, center, end brackets. So this is saying center everything from here on forward. This is saying here's add the Mindbody purchase link. And this is saying stop centering everything. So we don't have everything else on the page that's also being centered. Okay, so now let's move that back up. It likes to kind of move around a little bit on you. So now you can see we have our buy session centered. So if I have save and exit, there we go. So it says buy session, looks very nice, all in line, and it works and it pops up our cart, which is great. But we want this to look like a button. That blends in too much with the text. So you're going to add a little bit of custom CSS, so a little bit of custom code to tell your Squarespace website that every time there's a Mindbody link like this, make it look like a button. And I'm going to give you that custom CSS. All you have to do is copy paste it and change your brand colors. So to do that, you're going to go website, pages, scroll all the way down to where it says custom code at the bottom. Open that up, and then you're looking for custom CSS. Open that up. If you've never had any custom code done on your website, you'll see a blank window here. If you have, maybe you work with a designer or developer and you have a bunch of custom code, totally fine. Scroll down to the very bottom and you're just going to paste this in below everything else. Okay, so here's the code. I'm just going to copy and paste it, and I'll show you what we're doing when we have it over there. Okay. So, and shout out to Beatrice, my developer over here at Pixality Design, for writing this and sharing this code with us. Okay, so you can see all of a sudden, once I pasted that code in, it changed it to a green button. And when I hover over it, it's black. So now all of a sudden we have a button. So if you paste it in just how I give it to you, that's exactly what your button's going to look like. But let's look at how you can customize it for your brand. So what this is saying is heel code link. That's saying that any Mindbody link, for those of you who've been around for a while, Mindbody, the branded web aspect of it used to be a company called Heel Code. Mindbody bought it lots of years ago, but the code still retains the Heel Code name. So that's why that says Heel Code. And then underneath it, it says background. And then that is the color green, that A5C F2D right there. So if I wanted to change that color, let me just grab a different color. So I wanted to make it this kind of midnight blue that I have up there. I'm going to just change that right there. Okay, so now it's the same midnight blue that is up there. So background is the background color of your button. Border, in this case, I don't have a border at all, but say I wanted to have a little border, I could do a 2-pixel border around the outside. Now you can see there's a green border over there. You can change the color of the border here. So we're going to get rid of the border though. Next up is border radius. So you can see how this button is a little bit rounded. It has a 5-pixel radius. If I wanted to make that like a pill shaped, I could go all the way up to like, if I did like a 30-pixel radius, it's going to make it pill shaped. If I wanted to make it squared off, I would go a 0-pixel radius, and now it's just a square. Color, this is the font color. So it's FFF is the color code for white. And so we have a white one there. So we could change that color as well. You can just leave the display font size. If we wanted to make this like a gigantic button, we could change that font size and it's going to be a lot bigger. Font weight, 700 is a pretty thick, bold one. So if we wanted to make it thin text, you can see how the text changed on the button there. And then padding makes the size of the button. So if I wanted to make the button, small or have a lot thicker, a lot fatter, I have options there with padding. And then in this case, I have text transform uppercase. So I'm making the text all uppercase there. You can change that to none if you want. And then you also have some selectors here to change what it does when you hover over it. So in this case, I'm hovering over it and it's changing to black. Say I wanted to hover over it and change it to like this lavender color. So I'm going to go hover background. I'm going to change that color. So now it's lavender, but now I need to change the actual text of it because white's not going to work. So I'm going to grab my original background color, and I'm going to just copy that, and I'm going to change that where it says color down here. So anything under the and hover, this is going to be what colors it takes on once you hover over it. So now it's a lavender background and a deep navy text when you hover over it. Okay, so let's say I liked the way that button looked and I wanted that button to be, here I'm going to just make that a little bit smaller text, but I wanted that button to be the button for all of these. You don't need to do anything else. Any Mindbody link that you add, now that you have this code in, once we hit save, we're going to hit save. There we go. Okay, so now any Mindbody link that you add is going to look exactly like this button. So let's go back over to your branded web manager and grab a contract link just so you can see how you can style that differently or keep it styled the exact same. So for buy now pricing options, I'm going to choose a contract this time. And I'm going to choose the contract that I want. In this case, I've got month-to-month membership. Instead of buy now, I'm going to have this say sign up now because it's a month-to-month thing. And I'm going to copy my code. Head back over to our Squarespace website. We've saved that custom code, so I'm just going to back out of there. I'm going to edit back into this page. I'm going to add a new block. It's going to be a code block again, and I'm going to drag that in place. Make it the size that I want it. All right, click edit into the code block, delete the hello world, and paste in the link for our contract. And then clean up kind of where it goes. Clean up the page a little bit. There we go. Okay. Okay, so the first thing you notice is it's left aligned. So we're going to go back into that code block and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to center align it, /center to close it in brackets. Again, this will all be underneath this video, so you don't need to remember this, but okay, and then we'll hit save and exit. So there we go. Now we have our sign up button. So if for this membership, if I click that membership sign up, this cart is going to open up and you can see it's adding the month-to-month membership into the cart. Whereas if I click the intro session, it's adding the intro session to the cart. So now let's head back over to our custom code, custom CSS. Now, I don't have to do anything with this. I can leave it exactly how it is. It's going to apply to, as you've seen, both the contract link and the normal pricing link. It's clean. It matches everything on your site. You could just end there. However, if you have a different color way going on and you want the contracts to be a different color, we've got one more little bit of code that's optional that we can use. So I'm going to go back over and copy this. This will also be below this video. And I'm just going to paste this in here just for reference. With these little hash on the front of it, this means that this code, the website is going to ignore this code. So you don't have to worry about it. If it's all grayed out like this, it's not actually doing anything to the website. I've just got it here just as notes so that you can easily reference it. So up here in our button code up here, the stuff that is applying to our website, we have that heel code -link. And so that's going to style all the Mindbody links. However, say we just wanted these colors that we set to apply to just the purchase link, just the actual buy now one. So if that's the case, then we're going to copy this one where it says buy now button selector, and it says .heel code pricing option text link. So if we copy that one and we replace this heel code link with the more specific selector, now our styling is just going to apply to this button. So if we wanted to style this contract up differently, we're going to copy all of this, paste it below, and then we have a different selector, different controls for the contract. So the contract, we can see our little shortcut links down here, heel code contract text link, dashes. So we're going to replace that in our duplicated one. And then we can change these colors up. Let's go get, okay, so I've got a pink color in mind. So I'm going to change the background of that contract one to pink. And then I could change also the hover colors. I could change anything else I wanted. If I wanted those to be, for some reason, rounded corners or pill shaped, I could do that as well. So you have different selector options. Again, you can totally just leave it as .heel code link and it'll apply to all of them. But if you want to get more specific and you want to target different types of those links, with different stylings, you can do that as well. And I'm going to include that code below this video as well. Okay, let's hit save on our custom CSS. And there's one last thing that we need to do that's really important for pricing pages. So this looks great on a desktop. We've got our information and the button underneath it, information and the button underneath it. But let's click edit into the page and check this on mobile stylings. So this only applies to you if you are using Squarespace 7.1 and Fluid Engine. If you're using the classic editor or Squarespace 7.0, which only has the classic editor, you don't have this ability to fine tune on mobile. Things should in those programs lock themselves in the right order on mobile anyway, but on Fluid Engine, so if your website looks like mine does right now with the blue boxes around things, you definitely need to make sure that your pricing page is logical and makes sense on mobile as well. So in the top right-hand corner, I'm going to click Mobile View. And then you can see how the different blocks are. And so you can change things around on mobile view, change the order of them and change the size of them on mobile view, and it does not affect your desktop view. So in this case, we're looking pretty good. We've got the text, we've got the buy session, we've got the text for the membership, and we have the button for the membership. So that's perfect. Because of the way I built it, that's the order that I built it in. And so it knows it wants to be in that order. However, if I on desktop, was working on this page for a while. I had a bunch of different pricing options. I was moving them around. I was organizing them in a different way. The mobile view might not keep up with the order that you want all those in. So I've seen it before where you've got some text up here. You've got some more text up here. So you've got like all your text blocks stacked at the top and then all your buttons below it. And so then no one can see what button goes with what text block. So as you can see, I can move things around here and they're not going to affect on desktop. But just double check once you've created your pricing page, because pricing pages can be kind of a lot with all these different blocks and associated things that need to go in order to make sense on different screen sizes. So just double check once it looks good on desktop. Also check your mobile and make sure that you drag them into the order that they need to go so that the text and the buttons are lined up and in a logical order so that people are clicking on the button with the associated text next to it. All right. Okay. So that's how you add Mindbody purchase links, contract links, gift card links, login register links to your Squarespace website and how you style them to look like a button. If you have more questions about integrating Mindbody with your Squarespace website, stay tuned because there's more videos coming in this series.